It's hold up, what's that awesome piece time. With number 18, we are doing the 3x4 box today, specifically known as Container Crate 3x4 by 1 and 2/3 with handholds. Full name for you guys. Part number 30150 can be found on the bottom of the box. Right there, molded in. And this box has been around long enough that I don't think we've seen any major changes through the years. There was one note about something with the ledge on the inside, kind of down there a little bit. You can see it right where the tip of my fingernail is. Certain versions of the box do not have a ledge, and I think that's really the only thing that's changed in the entire history of the part, which we will look at right now on Bricklink. And I usually pop this out to look at the number of sets certain colors have been in. As I was reviewing this before I started recording, I realized something was not quite right here. And I knew that because the white I know is somewhat rare. It's only in like 2 or 3 sets, but here it says it's in 14 sets. So I started digging around, looking a couple different places. If we go to the old Bricklink, we can see that we have a different story here. It says it's in 3 sets here in known colors, and it gives us which sets those are in. So why doesn't it show that on XP? Well, let's go to the white on XP, and it turns out we were right, 3 sets, the same 3 listed here. So why in the world is this saying something different on the pop out that I've been trying to use for accurate information? Turns out maybe not so accurate. Where is this number coming from? With a little more digging on Rebrickable, it shows up in those 3 sets, 1, 2, 3, but it also shows up in set collections, and that's what I wasn't taking into account. So whenever a small set has been grouped in, LEGO will sometimes sell things as a group or as a set collection, and in that case that's a separate database item and it gets counted again. So here we have our 13 comparable to the 14 that XP says exist, when in reality it's only in 3 sets. So I might have to find an alternative source of info for this data for how many sets each of these come in. And in this case, it seems like our classic Bricklink is the most accurate at showing us the actual quantity of LEGO sets that contain a specific color. What we can use this for is the year it was released, and we can use this to see when the part was first introduced. The old brown color first introduced in 1998. And that ran until 2003. The most recent color introduced is dark red, only in a single set, and then some of the other ones in between, I think for 12 total colors. So an interesting spread there. To actually see how common certain colors are, let's go to this page. The most common is our reddish brown, not surprisingly, just over 100 sets now. The most rare are the blue, dark red, dark blue. These are both recent. And red actually, and then orange is in 3, black is in 3. So black and orange are harder to find, but red for sure, not going to be easy to get a hold of one of those. We'll look at our black and our orange real quick. 3 sets for orange. It turns out they're all the 4 Juniors line from like the early days of Jack Stone. So before you start bashing on these sets too much, just remember it's the only way you could get an orange 3x4 box. Alright, how about our black ones? What 3 sets can we buy to get a black one? 3 more older sets here. The Alpha Team Bomb Squad, 2 of those, 2 boxes in that set. Imperial Inspection, an old Star Wars set, and the Quick Fix Station. So this would probably be, back in the day, the easiest way to attain a black box. But now all 3 of these sets retired for quite a while, going to be hard to find, and prices are going to reflect that. We'll change this to used here. Pretty close to $1 for a used 3x4 black box. Of course, reddish brown has been in enough sets by now that you probably have a few of these laying around no matter what themes you buy. So nice to have a common color that you can at least get a part in here and there. Okay, how about red? So supposedly this only comes in 1 set, and when you start digging into the details, that set is the Coca-Cola bottle case polybag. One of the sets that you kind of scratch your head and wonder, why did LEGO produce this? And it was actually part of a family of little poly bags and mini build kits that you could use to expand a soccer stadium to help kind of promote the World Cup in 2002. So if you look even further on Brickset, we have some notes here. Coca-Cola promotion in Japan to tie in with the 2002 World Cup. Not only is the red box in a single set, it is actually only released in a single area of the world. Looks like it was only a Japan release. 2002 is now 19 years ago, so this one going to be even more expensive than the black one. Let's not say new sealed. It's not available used. Let's go back to just the box and see what we can dig up there. Used red box, $5. Alright, let's look at the price guide on Bricklink Classic for red. Last 6 months sales, it was sold 5 times, average price $5, max price $7. Current items for sale tells a different story. There's some people out here hoping to make more than $30 on a single red box. Unless someone desperate comes along, that's probably not going to happen, but just goes to show when everything lines up just right, you get a single color only released here, a very limited release, and now that it's 20 years old, that combines to give you a somewhat expensive piece. So if you need a red box for a project, you might want to consider changing that color. Other colors to choose from now: dark red coming in our Sesame Street Ideas set. So that's a nice new piece last year, 2020. Dark blue is a Friends set color. Blue is another one worth checking here. Mickey's Mansion. That's like vintage stuff. And Riding School. 2 sets that you wouldn't really expect to share anything in common with. Turns out those are the only 2 you can find. A blue 3x4 box. Alright, so a lot more interesting backstory on this part today for our HUWTAP. But the rest of the story is in the part itself. So let's go back and review some more of that. So I've got, a decent selection of these boxes. Here's our color comparison for old brown and reddish brown. Old brown, not too hard to find. It was around for a couple years. Reddish brown, by far the most common. So if you guys buy at least a few city sets or even non-city stuff, you should probably have some of these. And if you mess around, you would know that you can put things on top of the lid. The most obvious piece these days is the 3x4 minifig base, and the same footprint, same area, size on there, and that just snaps down right on top, those little fingers all the way around, and it's a perfect fit for the lid of the box. It even gives you a row of studs here to attach the next box to if you want to have a lid. Of course, if you don't want to have a lid, then the slots just go right into the base of the next box and they're stackable. Interesting thing that you get when you start stacking these, especially if you do the same color, is kind of a texture along here. So if you're looking to add just a subtle hint of depth or texture on a column, consider stacking boxes. And there's a little hole to worry about there. And there's the question of how you're going to secure it when you get to the top of the column. But in terms of providing a little bit of texture where otherwise it could just be flat, maybe an option for you there. Alright, speaking of this little handle hole on the side, that happens to be the same depth as a plate and a little bit wider than a plate. So there's a little bit of playroom there to get it in at an angle. But even with the lid on, you can stuff at least tiles. You can't put anything with studs through, but plates, grills, 1x1, anything long enough to slide all the way in. You get out to like a 1x4 or 1x6, and it either hits the side or it comes out the other handle before it goes into the box. But kind of an interesting feature here where you can just slide stuff in even if the top does not allow access. Once you get down inside, you can see that we've got some studs in the base, so you can actually stick things inside the box and not worry about them sliding around. There's also 2 holes in the bottom. These come in handy when you do stick something down on the studs and you need to get them out. Not a great way to get a brick separator down inside there, so you take one of our simple bars bar elements. A lot of minifig accessories have this bar size. And stuff it through the hole, and that will take care of it. It just pushes it right out. We'll look at some other lid types, and then that's about it for this HUWTAP. Mostly just wanted to look at the interesting color history for this part. But not too long ago we got 2x3 tiles. So if you want a smooth surface, currently the fastest way to do that, or using the fewest pieces rather, is 2 of these specially shaped tiles. We don't have the 3x4 tile yet. This is the closest thing we have in that regard. It's got the row of studs. Alternatively, you could do 4 1x3 tiles. Of course, if we have 2x3 tiles, we can also use 2x3 plates. And these provide us with an opportunity to add in other things on the top rather than just the single row of studs. Whether you have the plates or the partially tiled, you can add a jumper in the middle here, and then that will give you the opportunity to attach one of these hooks. Now it does matter about the bottom attachment with the hooks now. You have to use the one with the open circle. That way you can center it up, and that's the only way you can get one of these hooks centered on the box, on the crate, to kind of pick this up and move it around. You can use this one, but you won't be able to get it centered. It'll be offset a little bit, and then it won't be level when you pick it up. So, 3x4 box. What all can you fit in here? How deep is this? Well, by the time you have the plates at the bottom, it's about a brick deep, a brick and a plate. So there's not a whole lot you can store in here. A minifig, you can sit down a minifig in here. It'll pop out up to the top. What's nice about seating a minifig inside a 3x4 box is the sides are wide enough for the arms and the shoulders. So, you know, even by the time it's up at the top here, let me grab a minifig. We'll send this guy down the creek. Sit him down in here, and there is a little interference, but it's wide enough that there's kind of some comfortable room in there. So minifigs can sit in the box. Can't do that with the smaller ones. So hold up, what's that awesome piece? It's a 3x4 box. It can be used for quite a lot of things, not just a container. But more interesting than that, in my opinion, is some of the colors the box has appeared in, especially the blue and the red. Going and looking back through older Lego sets, maybe upon release you weren't really thinking, oh yeah, a blue Lego box. We'll probably see more of those in the future. It won't be that hard to find. And then 15 years later, still remains a somewhat exclusive color for the box. I'm glad to have a white one. There were 2 white ones in the Imperial flagship, so don't recommend getting that set if you just want a white box. There's better ways to do that, but it's cool to include certain less used colors in those larger sets and make things a little more exclusive, and many manner of things to talk about. But yeah, this is my selection for our 18th HUWTAP, and not too much more to say about it. See you guys in the next one.